Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Couple wide shots.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Emma fell in, so she was shorter than Claire.
She did fall. Daddy, will you come here?
Come here for what? I can also get one of the Johnson.
Yeah, that's not easy.
I can tie that.
That is badass.
Coming right at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where am I gonna hit you?
Wherever.
You want to go back to
Oh!
I'm gonna let it not procedural. Well, my name is Joe McAneney, and I lived in Talkeetna the last almost 10 years now, and I grew up in Western New York. I always liked airplanes as a little kid, but I never thought I'd fly them. And when I came to Alaska, everyone was flying. I got the chance to fly in a small plane a few times and kind of realized, like, oh, I actually want to do this. I think growing up, I didn't know any pilots. No one was. It was might as well as be an astronaut, so it was kind of different. But I took my first flight lessons up in Fairbanks, my first summer in Alaska in 2010, and I was only 20 years old, and fell in love with it, but I couldn't afford it. So I got like 4 or 5 hours that summer and had all my books, and it wasn't until November of 2020 that I started my flight instruction back up here in Talkeetna with actually my boss's wife, who they're both younger than me, but they're both great pilots. And my friend Robin taught me how to fly. I finished up my private in March of 21. 172, that one right there, actually.
Oh, okay.
The red one on the ramp.
All right.
So all my flying is consolidated right to this airport and the mountains that we were just
That's
in.
cool.
I'd say 95% of my hours are in those mountains. And coming up on somewhere around 1,800 hours total time now.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought a little Cessna 120 tailwheel aircraft right after I got my ticket, and 1946 120, and I live on the Village Airstrip in town, on the grass strip.
I've seen that over there. Yeah, that's
so
cool.
I live right on the strip, so I was parking the plane in the yard and just flying it every chance I could, and built up a bunch of time. And all my friends worked at K2, so someone's like, oh, you should fly for K2, and I had been self-employed for the last 8 years, and I was like, I don't think I want a job. But once I really thought about it, and these planes are so cool, and kind of all just came together, and this is now my third season flying at K2, and flew the Piston Beaver last summer. First summer I was flying the Cherokee 6 and the 185, but this summer I'm primarily flying the Turbine Otter.
Okay, talk a little bit about flying this airplane. How it handles air speeds.
It literally one finger. This airplane, it's amazing to have one designed this thing, and it's getting used to the turbine engine was the hardest part, starting the thing and not hurting it. Once it's running, it's hard to mess it up. It's an amazing aircraft. Can take off super short and land super short, and it can climb really well at altitude. We have one of them that has oxygen that we take up to 21,000 feet, and it's kind of interesting being in this small of a plane in a non-pressurized cabin at 21,000 feet. So I've never been scared of heights flying before, but the first time I did that tour, I looked down the north face of the mountain, and I was like, okay, I want to look this way, because I was like, we're pretty high up here. But yeah, it's just it's an honor and a privilege, really, as cliche as it is, to fly these aircraft. There was only 466 of these made, and I think there's less than 200 of them still flying. And I think Talkeetna PATK has the most turbine, or the most otters at any one airport.
Okay. Talk a bit about the idiosyncrasies of flying in the mountains and specifically landing on a glacier, and what your first time like doing that was.
Yeah, so I'd done it with buddies, like riding along for fun, and got hooked on it. And I've skied and snowboarded my whole life, so I'm familiar with snow and snow conditions and things like that, and slopes. And but flying in the mountains in general is challenging. It's amazing, it's rewarding, but being conservative is definitely the way to go. As I mentioned in the tour today, the weather's changing rapidly, and you can't expect the same thing twice, really. Okay. So flying in the mountains that's why you asked me if I've gotten sick of it or tired of it yet, and I haven't, because every day is a new challenge. There are days it's bluebird and easy. There's days like today where you got to know the passes, you got to know what the winds are doing, and you got to kind of, it's like a putting a puzzle together. Yeah. You probably heard all of us talking to each other, and it's fun. There's a lot of camaraderie and
I was going to ask about that. It sounded like there's certain reporting points that you make on the way in, and I didn't hear so much on the way out, but it almost like flying up the Hudson, like you were saying, I'm here.
Yep, we through all the main passes and through when we're entering the range, it's good to make yourself known, because a lot of us have ADS-B in and out, all the commercial operators. But there's plenty of private traffic up there, and they're just relying on reporting point calls. And if you make calls, then that means if they're close, then they'll make a call, or hopefully if they're on the frequency. But yeah, we you know, we try not to do too many calls because it clogs up the frequency, and we're trying to give a tour. And but we definitely every 10 minutes or so at the least, you're given a, just that way. If someone doesn't have the ADSB, they know where you're going,
Okay.
what you're doing.
So what are you looking to do after this? Is there any after this, or is this what you want to do?
This is it.
This is what you want to do.
I'll never have another job in aviation besides this, unless it was something in the wintertime that didn't interfere with my summer job here. But yeah, I was really lucky to just kind of, I never meant to have flying be a job. I wanted to fly for fun, and I like to do photography, and I wanted to just be able to go ski in the backcountry with my own plane. And it's just the first thing that I haven't gotten tired of, and had to, you know, I have the kind of energy where I need to do something new every few years, and in business and different things, and career wise. But flying is something that I'm like, I'm going to keep doing this forever. And yeah, I love it. I love the people I work with, and I love that mountain range. And you know, it's a relief to not be like, oh, like I'm working towards something else, because I have friends that are great pilots that are going to probably go onto the airlines or do other stuff. I'm sure they'll miss this though, but it's hard, you know. It's a seasonal job, so you can make more elsewhere if you're working full time year round, and living in Talkeetna. I live here year round, so I have that advantage. A lot of people come here just for the summer, but yeah, it's a very unique job, and unique.
What do you do in the wintertime?
I play with my dog and ski, and I come hang out with these guys, and I'm on call here. I take some flights here and there in the wintertime.
So do you fly in the wintertime?
Yeah, K2
Okay.
does. I think we go from like 14 pilots down to like 3 in the winter.
Okay.
So we're still doing tours. We don't land on the glaciers in the middle of winter. Kind of like November through February, we stop landings. It's cold out and not as much support up there. But I'm actually about to buy a Super Cub, a PA-18. So hopefully in the next week or so, I'll have my own Super Cub, and then I really won't have a life. I'll just be flying here all day, then I'd be going home right now to fly the Cub.
Okay.